All right, guys, what about 21? The answer for 21 should have been E. Does anybody need me to go over 21? Well, we don't have long until junior's got to take the ACT, and we're going to, like, blow it out of the water, right? Okay. Anybody? Everybody needs 21? Okay. All right, what about flip over? What about 22? 22 should have been J. You may need 22? Yeah? Okay, remember doing this with matrices? The determinant was you crisscross them, multiply those two, and then subtract those two. Kind of, sort of. Y'all remember doing that with matrices? Some of us, yes? Okay, so what if, so you plug it in. So instead of 2 times x, it's 2 times negative 3. What's 2 times negative 3? Negative 6. 5 times x is 5 times negative 3. How much is that? Yep. And instead of y, you're going to do 2. So 3 times 2 is how much? 6. And 4 times 2 is 8. And then what's the value? So here we go. What's negative 6 times 8? Negative how much? Use your calculators, guys. Come on, get them out. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. 48. Negative 48. Very good. Get them out anyway. Let's go. And then what's it tell you to do? Then you're going to subtract. So you don't even have to remember how to do matrices. It tells you how to do it. You're going to subtract. And what's 15 times negative, or negative 15 times 6? Use your calculator. Negative how much? 90. Very good. Okay, what do 2 negatives make? Positive. So negative 48 plus 90. Use your calculator. What's negative 48 plus 90? Positive 42, which is what we got. All right. Looks like this one's 23. I kind of got cut off though. 23 should have been C.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great day today. We have a few.
Okay, guys. Anybody need to go over 23? All right, 24. 24 should have been G. You may need 24. All right, last one. Flip over. 25. 25. You should have gotten D. Anybody need to go over 25? Yeah. Okay, so drove 200 miles in 5 hours. Okay, so if you're driving along and you're driving at 60 miles per hour, guys, what does miles per hour mean? Like, what operation are you going to do? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Divide, right? This little per right here. You're going to drive 60 miles in 1 hour. How many miles can you travel? 60. That's why they call it 60 miles per hour. You can travel 60 miles in 1 hour. This one, she's going to drive 200 miles in 5 hours. Okay, so how much is that? What's 200 divided by 5? How much? 40. So how many miles per hour was she driving? She was driving 40 miles per hour. And how much faster did they want her to go? 10 miles per hour faster. So how much faster would that be? 50 miles per hour. And you still got to travel the same distance, right? So 200 divided by, hold on a minute. Oh, how many hours could she save? Okay, so 200 divided by what is going to be 50? 200 divided by what? 4. Very good. Okay, so how many hours is it going to save her? 1 hour. She went from 5 hours to 4 hours. This is her original time. This is her new time. So that saved her 1 hour. You okay, Sydney? Okay. All right, guys, here we go. We got to finish up. I gave you checkpoints yesterday. You should have been able to at least finish the top part of that. I'm going to check those after we finish today. But right now, let's grab our notes. We got to finish the last part. And we're going to try to fly through this stuff today and tomorrow. to try to have a test like on Monday or Tuesday, okay? We really need to have a test on Friday, but we can get caught up on some stuff later. All right. So we're on the back. All right, here we go. Let's look at 1 and 2. Okay, what do you see first that you can do on 1 and 2? Quick, 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 come on. Same page we've been on, page 2. Same page. Number 1, what do you see that you can do here? What operation do they give you? Multiplication. Which ones can you multiply? What can you multiply? What's like? 6 and 4. Why are 6 and 4 like? There you go. They don't have a radical on them. What's 6 times 4? 24. Very good. All right, what else could you multiply? The 8. And what else? Why? They both, not because they both have a C, because they both have a what on top of them? The square root on top of them. What's 8 times 2? How much? 16. Y'all, I'm stopped up. Y'all gonna have to speak up today, okay? All right, what else could you multiply? Well, let's do alphabetical order. The C's, right? Well, guys, what happens when you multiply the bases? What do you do to the exponents? So what's 3 plus 1? 4. All right, what else could I do? There's only one thing left. How'd you get that? You add them. Very good. Y'all okay so far? All right, remember that list of numbers that you should have written at the top of your page? What is so special about one of those numbers? Which one? 16 is a perfect square. What's the square root of 16? 4. So what am I going to do to 24 and 4 when I bring it out? What am I going to do to these two? Look at y'all go. Okay, so I've done 16 and I've done 24. What else? How can I take the square root of c to the 4? How do we do that? How do we do it? How, though? Like, how do I take this?
C and 2, 2.
Where'd you get a 2 from? Why did you divide it by 2? Because it's square, and square means 2, right? So what's 4 divided by 2? 2. Very good. All right, what about d to the 8?
We can do 4, so then you can do 2.
How'd you get 4 again? 8 divided by 2. Y'all okay? All right, one more step. What do you see that you can do? There's no square root over it anymore. I took the square root. What's 24 times 4? 96. C to the 2nd, d to the 4. They no longer have square roots, so don't touch the c or the d. Y'all okay? Okay, let's keep going on 2. Yeah, are you finished with that one? You need chapter 6 then? I put it in the chapter. I had a chapter 6 right here. Okay, you have to give me a minute. I have to go make your copy, okay? I had an extra chapter 6, but I don't know how to do it. All right, number 2, here we go. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? What's 2 times 3? 6. Okay, now be careful this time, guys, because it is a 4th root this time, okay? Make sure you put that 4. If you don't put that 4, you're going to treat it as a square root. What else do you see? What's 8 times 2? 16. What else do you see?
You can have x's.
What do you get? 3 plus 5 is 8. Very good. What do you get? 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Awesome. All right, is that it? You see how I'm marking them out so that I can make sure I get everything? Okay, what about 4th roots? Do you remember how to do this? Got your calculators ready? Got them on?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Type in your root. So hit 4. Then what do we hit? I know that, but how do we find that out? Hit 4, and then what do you push? You hit math. Very good. Then what do we do? You can either type 5 or you can scroll down to 5. Get off your phone. And then hit 16. What do you get? 2, right? So what am I going to do to the 6 and the 2? multiply, okay? All right, how do I take the 4th root of x to the 8? What do I do to the 8? Come on, guys, you know this.
Divided by 4.
Thank you, Hunter. Divided by 4. What's 8 divided by 4? 2. All right, what about the y? How do I take the 4th root of y? Divided by the root. Right here is 4. What's 4 divided by 4? 1. Multiply and you get 12. Are y'all okay? It's not. It's not. It's the same thing we've been doing, except now we actually had to multiply them. That's the only thing different. All right, it's a little different. Okay, guys, how many terms do you see? Guys, what happens when you're multiplying 4 terms? What's that special little thing? FOIL. It's the same thing we've been doing. Okay, what's your first? Yeah? Okay, guys, what two things? Don't look at anything else besides these two. What can you multiply between those? What's 2 times 6? 12. What else can you multiply between these two? What's 5 times 3? 15. There you go. All right, that's your first. Your outer, very, 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 very outsides. Which ones are on both ends? 6 square root of 3 and the 4 square root of 2. They're on the very outsides, okay? All right, what can I multiply between these two?
6 and 4.
6 and 4 is 24. There you go. What else?
3 and 2.
What's 3 times 2? There you go. All right, then you got the inner. Which two are on the very, very inside closest together?
-5 and 2.
There you go. Very good. That one's pretty easy. What's -5 times 2 square root of 5?
We don't only do 2.
2 times -5 is? -10, and then you just stick that square root on the back of it. All right, then your last. What's your last? Yep. All right, that one should be easy too. What's -5 times 4 square root of 2? -20 square root of 2. Do you see any of those that have the same square root? Because in order to add or subtract them, they got to have the same square root. Any of them?
No.
All right, can I take the square root of 15, 6, 5, or 2? Any of them on that list?
6.
No, 6 not on the list.
2.
2's not on that list. Okay, can I break up? Yeah, 2's not on the list. You can't take the square root. It'll be a decimal. There's no number times itself that'll give you 2. All right, can I break up any of these? Does 15 have a number on that list that'll go into it? No. 6 have a number on that list? No. I don't care about 2 and 3 because 2 and 3 is not on that list, okay? So it's got to be on that list. What about 5? Does it have a number on the list? No? 2? Well, then you're done.
Well, what if it does have a number?
Then you would just break it up the way we did these. Huh? I think number 4 might have one. We'll look at number 4, okay? All right, here we go. Number 4. All right, so how many terms do you have? 4. So you're going to do FOIL. What's your first?
7.
Yeah?
4.
All right, so Leslie, what 2 numbers can I multiply here?
7.
And that gives you 28. All right, Allie, what else could you multiply between these 2? What's it give you? Very good. All right, what's your outer? Anybody? Yeah? And what the other one? And the 3 square root of 12. Very good. All right, Tyler Emerson, what numbers can I multiply between these 2?
7 and 3.
Okay, that gives you 21. All right, Blake, what else could you multiply?
You
The,
can multiply the 12 and the 2.
all right, and that gives you 24. All right, what's my inner? Anybody?
3.
Careful, -3.
-3 and 4.
Yep. All right, Kai, what can I multiply between these 2?
3 and 4.
Okay, so that gives you -12. All right, Will, what else can I multiply between these 2? The 2 my fingers are on.
3 and 6.
Alright, 3 and 6 gives me 18. Alright, my last, what's my last, anybody?
The -3, square root of 3, and -2.
And the positive, yeah, the one's positive, one's negative. Alright, Caitlin, what numbers could I multiply between these two? Okay, that gives me -9. Very good. And Hunter, what else could I multiply between these?
12 and 6.
Not 12 and 6. Between the two where my pen and my finger is.
Oh, I mean, 12 and 3.
12 and 3. What's 12 times 3? Was that 36? Yep. Okay, first thing you ask yourself, can you combine any of those numbers? Or any of them like?
36 and
36 and 12 are not the same thing.
36.
Alright, do you see one on that list? They're not like, baby. 12 and 36 are not the same thing.
36 is 8.
36 is a square root, Hunter, right? What's the square root of 36?
6.
Just 6, right? So that becomes just 9 times 6, right, Tyler? You get so far? Okay. Alright, what about 12? Can you break up 12? 4 times 3. 4 is on that list. What about 24? Can you break up 24? Four times 6. Very good. What about 18? Can you break up 18? 9 times 2. Very good. Alright, so this first one. This becomes 28 times what number?
Yeah.
Where'd you get 2 from?
4.
Very good. Square root of 4 is 2. And then square root of 3. Very good. Alright, what about the second one? The second one becomes 21 times what? Times 2, because the square root of 4 is 2. Very good. Alright, the third one. Negative 12 times what? 3, because the square root of 9 is 3. Very good. Are y'all okay? Alright, and then let's finish it up. What's 28 times 2? 50 how much? 28 times 2? 56. Square root of 3. Alright, what's 21 times 2? 42. Square root of 6. What's 12 times 3? 36. Square root of 2. And what's 9 times 6? 54. Alright, do any of them have the exact same square root? No. So you're finished. Are y'all okay? Okay, here we go. Let's try to finish up this bottom part so we can finish it up. Okay, so what's wrong with this down here? It's the same stuff we've been doing, but it's a tiny bit different. The square root on the bottom, right? You can't have a square root on the bottom. But what's the different part on this piece? What's the extra piece that we have right here? The -1. So you have to multiply by the opposite. What's the opposite of -1? +1. And guys, if you do it to the top, you got to do the exact same thing to the bottom, okay? If you do a positive on the top, you got to do a positive on the bottom. Okay, we're not going to do any math. All we're going to do is smush these together. So it's 2 times square root of 5 plus 1. No math. I just smushed them together. Y'all okay? Alright, same thing on the bottom. Y'all okay so far? Alright, what would I do on the top? Distribute. So, can I multiply 2 and 5 to give me 10? No. One has a square root and one doesn't. Very good job. You just smush them. 2 square root of 5. What about 2 and 1? Can I multiply those two? Yes, because neither one of them have a square root. What's 2 times 1? 2. Very good. Alright, so what would I have to do on the bottom down here? How? What's the special thing called? You'd have to FOIL, right? But do you remember what happens when you have the exact same numbers but different signs? What cancels out? Okay, so you have FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. Which ones would cancel out? No. What's -1 times 1? Those don't cancel out. We're multiplying. Out and the inner. Very good, Will. So the only two things you got to multiply are first and last. So what's your first? Can I multiply 5 times 5?
Yeah.
Why?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's the square root of 5 times the square root of 5. Perfect. All right, and then your last, what's -1 times 1? -1. All right, do you see anything you can do? Well, there you go. Square root of 25 of 5 is 25 is 5. Excuse me, if I can get my words out. See anything else you can do? Five minus 1 is how much? 4. All right, now look, when you're adding, it has to go into all of them. So you have to divide that 4 into both of them, okay? So right here, what does that become? 1 and, what's on the bottom? 2. What about this one right here? 1 and you already have the 2. Very good. It's got to go into both of them when you're adding. All right, here we go. Let's do number 2. What's wrong with number 2? What's the problem?
The 2 square roots.
You got square roots in the bottom, right? So when you have a sign, you got to multiply by the opposite. What's the opposite of a negative?
Positive.
Positive, right? Right, Tyler? Good? Blake, you good? All right, no math. We're just going to smush them. Put it all together. All right, Cody. Okay, what can you do on the top? Distribute. All right, can I multiply 6 and 3? No, they're not like, so it's just that. All right, what about the 6 and the 2? Can I multiply them? No. So you just smush it together. Y'all okay? All right, what about down here? I would have to FOIL, but I have the exact same stuff but different signs. So what's the only thing I have to do? First and last. All right, what about square root of 3 times square root of 3? Can I multiply 3 and 3? Yeah, they both have a square root. What's it give you? Square root of 9. All right, what about these two? Can I multiply them? Yep, what's the negative times a positive? Negative square root of 4. See anything you can do?
Yeah, you can break down the 9.
Or what's the 9 and 4? Give me.
3 and 2.
Regular 3 and a regular 2. See anything else?
The 6s.
3 and the 2 gives me how much? You're subtracting. 1. You cannot touch those 6s because one has a square root of 3 and one has a square root of 2. They're not the same. Well, you can rewrite that a little bit simpler. What else would that just reduce to?
Just the top.
Just the top. Very good. Very good. Are y'all okay? One more? Alright, here we go. What's wrong? Square root on the bottom. You got to do the opposite sign. When you get a sign, what's the opposite of a positive?
Negative.
Negative. All right, no math. I'm just going to smush them together. Y'all okay so far? Good? Okay. Alright, let's do the bottom first. The bottom's easy. The bottom has the exact same numbers, but different signs. So what's the only thing you have to do? What part of FOIL? Just the first and last. There you go. The bottom part's easy, so we're going to do that one first. Alright, what's the square root of 3 times square root of 3? Square root of 9. What's positive times a negative? Negative. And what's 6 times 6? 36. Did those 6s have a square root on them? No. So that 36 better not have a square root on it, okay? Alright, let's do your first. The top. First, what's 9 times square root of 3? Can I multiply those? Can I get 27? 9 and 3? No, so you just smush them. 9 square root of 3. Alright, what about your outer? 9 and negative 6. Can I multiply those two numbers?
Yes.
Yeah. What's 9 times negative 6? Use your calculator if you need to. Negative 54. Very good. Alright, what about your inner? I got 3 numbers. 2, 3, and 3. Which one's going to multiply? The 3s. So I get, it's a minus. Minus 2 square root of 9. Those 3s had a square root. So your 9 gets a square root. And your last. Alright, I got 3 numbers between these two. What can I multiply? A negative 2 and negative 6 gives me positive 12. And then, what was it, square root of 3? Is that what I had with it? Okay. Okay, notice anything? There's a couple of things. You notice anything particular? You with us, Blake?
Yeah, square root still.
Square root on the bottom? What you get? 3. Notice anything else? Which one? The square root of 3, Sydney. Very good. So, Jacob, do you see how those two have the same square roots? So then I can actually add the 9 and the 12. So what's 9 plus 12, anybody? 21. Square root of 3. Alright, see anything else? What's the square root of 9? So that becomes minus 2 times the 3. And then I'm just going to bring down that minus 54. Alright, y'all see anything else we can do? 3 and 36. Subtract them and you get? Negative 33. Very good. Alright, let's multiply these first. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Now what could we do? There you go. Now subtract those. What's negative 6 minus 54? Negative 60. Very good. And that does not go, so you're good. Now okay? Anybody lost? Okay, grab your checkpoints. You got about 15 minutes left. Got to work on those checkpoints. 15 minutes left. And let's see how much you can do.